Majo John Madden at the Hotel Diamante is way behind me, and right behind me is the Restaurante Aureli. And over there are my friends Alia and Miguel. Miguel manages the hotel, and Alia is managing the restaurant while her mom is up in Dallas taking care of the 15-year-old who managed to somehow get papers and go to the United States to go for high school by her aunt, her tia, who lives up there. And then right behind me is one of the restaurant servers, Maritza. This place has been awfully good for me for 2.5 months. And finalmente, mi coche, my autocaravana, my camper van, is down the road getting its new motor. Every month the repairs got more complicated and more expensive. And finally the mechanic said, I just can't do it. Cannot repair that engine. We have to put a new engine. In the United States, it never would have been possible. The guy before me had put $5,000, more than $5,000 into a new engine just before I bought the car 2 years ago. And what two mechanics down here have said was that was a bad engine to begin with. They never should have done that. So finally it had to be replaced altogether. It's left me very poor, no money, but so happy. I've been listening to a podcast with Rachel Martin on public radio called Enlighten Me, and it's about the spiritual life. And the conversation often turns to sacredness. What does it mean, sacred? And one of the themes is, what if you lived as if every day was sacred and everything was sacred? And that's the way I've lived for a while, but especially the last 4 years, but especially my 5 months in Mexico, where everything is so different, so truly magical for me. And now that I'm getting out of here, I'm really happy and very sad. I walk the dogs. There's 3 dogs I've gotten very attached to. I walk them every morning for several weeks now. We go for 2 hours on the back roads. And it's so beautiful out there and so peaceful, and it gets away from the big road. There's a big road runs right through El Diamante. And I'm leaving them. And I'm telling everybody that in 2 or 3 days I'm going to leave, and I will not come back because it'll confuse those dogs too much. I've seen that. I did that with a dog I gave away because I had to, but I kept going back to visit him, and it was very bad for him, for me to do that. So I'm saying I'm going to stay local. I don't have money for gas, so I'm only going to the local beach, and I'll have enough gas to go into the local town of Vega, but I won't come back down here. And the adults get it, and that's sad. And I was talking with Alia this morning about how do we talk to the 2 older girls. There's a 6 and a 7-year-old girl. The 3-year-old girl won't even notice that I'm gone, even though she likes me a lot. But the 2 older girls, we're attached to each other, and we need to talk to them about why I'm leaving and what's going on, and maybe help them talk about it, which won't much happen. There's not much in the Mexican culture to talk about your feelings. It's really not. But the older people are wincing, like, wow, that soon. And you've been here 3 months, and you've been a part of our life, part of our family. So this morning, because my Spanish is getting better, and because this restaurant really is kind of a sacred place, a wonderful place where special things happen, 2 guys came in who were doing construction near here. And they found out I had no money and no cigarettes. I asked them if I told Alia I did not panhandle, but I actually had. I had asked them if they had a cigarette, knowing they probably wouldn't because not many people smoked down here. And when the guy found out I had no cigarettes and no money, he went down the street and was going to buy me a pack of cigarettes, but all they had was 3 cigarettes, so he bought 3 cigarettes for me, which was great because a smoker with no cigarettes, that's like a fish without water or something. I don't know. So I had a cigarette, and it made me really happy, and then I sat down and had breakfast with them. And we talked about the one summer I worked construction. And it's a genuine teaching story because it's about black and white, old and young, and about working people. It's a song that it's kind of a song, it's a story that celebrates the working man. Me, as a college student, had just graduated from Loyola University in Chicago when they were building a new student dorm, And the contract that went out to the construction company said you have to hire a certain number of college students. So that's the only way we would have gotten a job with a construction company. And I was